In Pleasant View, tragedy has a way of repeating itself. What began as a simple love story between Brandy Newby and Skip Broke soon unraveled into one of the neighborhood's darkest mysteries. In the previous episodes, we traced Brandy's lineage and the Broke family's humble beginnings. Two families bound by love, struggle, and loss. But in this part, we step into murkier waters, a suspicious accident, a missing husband, and a family forever marked by misfortune. This is the story of the Broke family's downfall and the unanswered questions that still linger beneath the surface. Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Happy Halloween! Ooh, this is like my favorite holiday outside of Christmas. Listen, I'm always itching to do some sort of like Halloween makeup or something, so I'm very excited. Hopefully you're seeing this on Halloween day or Halloween night. I hope you had a great Halloween and you were safe. Today we are doing part 3, the final part of the Broke family. Hello. Okay, sir. He can't see a camera and not fucking want to be part of it, but I digress. Where was I? The Brokes. Yes. We're going to be diving into the Broke family and just talking about whether or not they're cursed, or is it just bad family habits that were passed down from generation to generation, or is it a combination of both? So without further ado, let's get into it. So, the Broke family in The Sims 2. We went over Brandy Broke's history, her parents and grandparents, and we went into Skip Broke's family, his parents, his cousins. Listen, it was just everybody combined, okay? Today I'm going to be going over just Brandy, Skip, and their little family. So the Broke family appear in Pleasant View in The Sims 2. It consists of Brandy, Dustin, and Beau Broke, and their starting funds are 929 simoleons. We've had this chat, okay? If you don't work or work towards getting promotions and stuff, anything under 2,000 is not enough, okay? I don't know what they think they're doing, but starting with 292 simoleons is insanity. Also, if the lighting changes, it's still like light outside. I want to make sure that this is up as soon as possible. I was gonna say on Halloween day, but child, knowing me, we don't know, okay? So sorry for that. Moving on, their family bio states Brandy was left to raise 2 boys alone following her husband's suspicious pool ladder accident. With Dustin acting out, can Brandy teach young Beau to make the right choices in life? Okay, so right off the bat, we already know Skip, he ain't there, okay? My brother is gone. Very sad. Let's talk about it. So before Skip died, The Sims 2 has a feature where you can look into Sims memories and there's like pictures and stuff in there. The Sims 4 could never, but I digress. From their family photo album memories type situation, we can see that when Skip met Brandy, it was just love at first sight. Like, he fell head over heels for her. Skip moved out of his parents' house in Riverview. He married Brandy Newby and they had 2 sons together, Dustin and Beau. It appears that they may have lived with the Newbys a little bit in the beginning of their relationship, but they then moved to Pleasant View after that. He was an Aries and he had the romance aspiration. Remember how in the last episode we talked about family first, money second? It's kind of tying in together here, okay? He wasn't necessarily sloppy, but he wasn't neat either. He was just like in the middle, which is okay. He was outgoing, active, he was serious, and he was a little bit grouchy, which I honestly found surprising, because you just look at him and you're just like, oh, you know. You know, you wouldn't think he's like a grouchy man, but you know, maybe the finances were making him like not have time for fun or something. He was like, I saw that with my family, okay, I'm not doing that, I need to like get my shit together. You never know. Also had interests in politics, sports, work, fashion, and travel. And he seems to have very little interest in money. So I'm not sure. I was a little bit confused looking at his personality because I'm like, why else would you be serious or grouchy? If you're not worried about money. He's interested in work but not money. That part, I'm a little bit confused, guys. So Skip Broke is, as we discussed, deceased at the beginning of the game. He died by drowning in what was described as a pool ladder accident. Okay, I'm putting air quotes in there, okay, because what do you mean? They have a pool at the back of the house. It seems that he drowned there. There's many hints that his death was suspicious. It's like, what do you mean? Like, that's weird. Like, that's not something that makes sense. So, a little foreshadowing there, maybe. I mean, we looked at Bernard and he died of drowning. Remember how I told you to remember? Yeah, it comes back in now, okay? Bernard broke, died of drowning. 3 generations later, I think. Is it 3? 2 generations? Whatever, you do the math. Okay, his great-grandchild or great-great-grandchild also dies of drowning when he's an adult. No, is that a coincidence? I think not, okay? But we'll get to that. We'll get to that, okay? Now, before I continue, like move on to Brandy, I have to like mention this part, okay? There are 2 skip brokes, okay? Because there's 2, there's been a lot of theories about why there's 2. You know, we've come up with our own like fun little stories and everything. I just felt like I couldn't talk about Skip and his family and all that without mentioning it, because I feel like y'all are gonna scream at me in the comments, the ones that know. Listen, this is confusing to me, okay? So I tried to simplify it for those who don't know that much about The Sims. Okay, if you know a lot about The Sims, then you already know this, okay? You can skip over this part. Remember how I told you about family albums, okay? There's 2 skip brokes. There is one that has a lighter t-shirt, he has blue eyes, and he has thicker eyebrows. He is technically the true father of Dustin and Bo, because Dustin also has blue eyes. And I think Bo has blue eyes as well. So he is genetically their father, but he's not linked to them on the family tree. Okay, he married Brandy based on her memories in the family album. He's the one that Brandy got married to. This Skip specifically, he is not resurrectable. So both of these are dead. Both these Skips are dead. You can only bring one back to life, okay? Not the screws. And now there's a plane. Okay. Wow. Okay, so Skip with blue eyes is not resurrectable. Okay, he's just chilling there. Then we have the one that you can bring back to life, because in The Sims, if your Sim dies and you have access to their grave or their ashes, you can do some stuff, depending on which Sims you're playing, but you can bring them back to life, okay? So this Skip, he has green eyes and he is linked to Dustin and Bo on the family tree as their father, but he's not the genetically connected to them, but you know, he's the one that the game wants you to accept as the father, okay? This one only met Brandy once. Where, how, why, I don't know, okay? Listen, he's resurrectable, he's the one that we just gotta go with, okay? What I am thinking is that they made the Skip that made Brandy once, and they're like, okay, this is what we want for the players to be able to resurrect. Okay, we're gonna keep him to the side. They make a second one, they make all the memories and the marriage, and they have the kids, and then they put him away in a nice little box and say, you just stay there, you're not gonna be able to be resurrected. That's how I understand it. Please feel free to explain it if you know it better than me in the comments, because listen, it is also worth noting that Skip is older than Brandy. Okay, that's why when I did my videos based on The Sims 3, because remember The Sims 3 comes first chronologically, then it is the Sims 1 and then The Sims 2. Sorry, I had to think really hard about that one. Okay, Skip is there as a child, Brandy is not, so he is older than her. He was a child when Brandy's parents were teenagers. Okay, so there's a little bit of a chronological inconsistency there. Basically, Skip is older, okay? He's either from an alternate timeline. There's either that or time travel. Remember when we talked about Bella Goth, Don Lothario? Go watch that video if you don't know. Okay, time travel, Fountain of Youth, or the Skip in The Sims 3 is the father to the Skip in The Sims 2. These are all theories that we've come up with, and I think it's really fun. The truth is unclear. It's up to you. What do you think is most likely? I think I've covered it all, okay? I'm getting like, I'm getting goosebumps. Okay, moving on to Skip's wife, Brandy Broke. Okay, so Brandy is the daughter of Bob and Betty Newby. We know this, it is established. She is an adult at the beginning of the game, and she's 22 days away from becoming an elder. They live in a trailer in a faraway corner of the neighborhood. Brandy is an Aries, and she has the family aspiration. She has high cooking skill, and she has some mechanical and some cleaning skills. She is sloppy, but she's outgoing. She's a little bit on the lazy side, but she's also playful and nice. She's a nice girl. She is acquainted with Dina and Nina Caliente, okay? Keep that in mind. If you watched my video on Bella Goth, if you have not, leave now and go watch it and then come back. Brandy has a high interest in sports, money, entertainment, the weather, fashion, and travel. I think that's very interesting that Skip isn't interested in money, but she is. Anywho, Brandy is currently unemployed and her bio states, friendly by nature, Brandy has often been accused of being overly so. She enjoys grape juice and crumpling tinfoil. Again, she sounds just like chill girl, fun. I mean, the crumpling of tinfoil, that's kind of cute, I won't lie. Moving on to their eldest son, Dustin Broke. So Dustin is a teenager at the start of the game. He is 12 days away from becoming an adult. He goes to public school and he is a C student. He is an Aries like his parents and he has the fortune aspiration, which makes sense because, I mean, he's growing up in active poverty. He comes from two families that have financial struggles. The math is mathing with this one. He has a job. He has a part-time job in the criminal career. Yes, he is a street hawker. He is sloppy, outgoing, lazy, playful, and a little bit on the nice side. Just because Dustin is in the criminal career doesn't mean he's not a nice kid. He is interested in politics, crime, sports, money, the environment, and animals. There's an interest in money there. The interest in crime, I think, comes from his job. I don't think he's just a bad kid deep in his heart. I think it's just his circumstances. His bio reads as follows: Dustin's rebellious nature gets him into trouble, but deep down, he wishes people would tell him what to do. That makes me really sad. Because a boy not having his dad, not having a father figure or someone who can step into that role for your son is like, that's rough, man. He just wants guidance. He is clearly not getting it because he's in the bloody criminal career, okay? He might be a street hawker, but what if he levels up, you know, because he's interested in money and crime? I'm getting heated. Can I let me calm down. I'm an adult. Dustin actually has a girlfriend and her name is Angela Pleasant and they're both childhood friends actually. Fun fact, Angela has a twin sister called Lilith, so it's a fun little play on like the angel and like someone who is good and someone who is bad, that kind of stereotype. So very interesting that he's with someone who overall is considered to be good and on the right side of things, and you know, that's why I think he's not a bad kid at heart, because his childhood friend is a nice girl and he isn't like mean. Dustin is enemies, however, with Angela's father Daniel. To be fair, so am I. Me and that man have beef, okay? But I'll make a video on why, because wow. However, randomly, Dustin is friends with a burglar named Gordon King. Now I think maybe Gordon, as you know, a burglar, as a tsotsi, okay, he wanted to break into their house, they got into a fight, and then that's how they met. And then when Dustin became part of the criminal career, they were like, oh, colleague, oh, you know, and now they're friends. That's how I rationalize it in my head, but yeah. Moving on to Bo Broke. Bo is a toddler at the start of the game. He's 2 days away from becoming a child. Yeah, this one's a little bit hard for me, like Bo specifically. Bo hasn't learned any toddler skills. He's close to learning how to walk and he's a third of the way through potty training, but he's very far from learning how to talk. So it's giving neglect. And I'm not gonna sugarcoat it, hey? It's giving neglect. What do you mean your son, he is 2 days away from becoming a child, meaning he is almost like grown out of this phase. You've had how many days to teach him toddler things and you... I'm getting really heated. Like, I'm an adult, let me calm down. These are pixels. Anyways, he is neat, which is different from literally everyone ever in his family. He is neat, he's outgoing, he's a little bit lazy, so you can see like the genes coming through there, and he's a little bit on the serious side, which is sad because he's a toddler. He should be playful, having fun, being happy, but no. Yeah, he's very interested in food, school, entertainment, and the environment. I like that he's interested in school. I think that means he is, in his toddler mind, is aware of what's going on. But his bio states, Bo finds it hard to escape his genetic destiny, but maybe with his mother's help, he can beat the odds. That makes me so sad because what? You had your chance, Brandy, okay? When the players like get you, they're probably gonna do a whole 180 and make sure that these kids are like, you know, guided to where they need to be, because right now they're at the beginning stage of going down the wrong path, okay? Dustin more than Bo. but there's still time to fix this, okay? So now that we've covered all of the family members, let's talk about some theories. Let's talk about what we've learned so far and try and connect the dots. So Brandy comes from a line of women who have settled for less. My cat is eating, don't mind him. Gave up their dreams or moved to a new city just on a whim, didn't want to pursue what they were naturally good at because they had such high expectations put on them and their life didn't really go in any particular direction. So there's a lot of settling. Skip comes from a family that struggles with money, but they have strong family values. Things seemed good for them in the beginning. They met and they fell in love and they seemed happy despite their financial challenges. They got married, they had 2 beautiful boys, and then tragedy strikes. Skip dies from a pool ladder accident. What does this mean? Let's dig a little bit deeper into Skip's death. Despite their happiness, Brandy and Skip come from a line of struggle. That has been very well established. They both had jobs before Skip died. Brandy quit when she gave birth to Bo. There's a little bit of discrepancy in the timeline there, but that is an error on the Sims team's part, if I remember correctly. It's not part of the lore itself, so I'm not going to consider that in this part of the video. So Skip's death is not as straightforward as it seems. You see, they had Dustin and then they had Bo. Brandy quit her job after having Bo. It's understandable because she now has 2 kids to take care of, right? And it's gonna be a lot juggling 2 children, especially with such a big age gap. I mean, Dustin is a teenager. However, quitting your job would add a different kind of stress because you don't have the finances. How does this link to Skip's death? Okay, remember back in the day when people used to go missing, specifically children, you would put their face on a milk box or a milk carton. Well, tell me why. In one of the Sims events, they showed a milk carton, okay, with Skip's face on it. Make the math, okay? Because you're telling me that he died in a pool ladder accident, but you also reported him missing. How does that work? My brain immediately went to maybe he didn't drown. Like maybe his cause of death isn't actually drowning. Maybe Brandy found him after he was already dead in the pool. Suspicious, right? Okay. Because Sims unaliving each other is not a thing in the game, his death is registered as drowning. But the team added so many other details to make us think he didn't just die by drowning. That is not what happened. His death was foul play, okay? Fight me, bro. Fight me. So what could have happened? When you start the game, you learn very quickly that Brandy is pregnant. She is pregante. She is pregger. She is with bun in the oven. Like, what the fuck? Like, you play for like maybe 1 or 2 days and then boom, she's pregnant. What do you mean? What do you mean? To me, that is suspicious. That part adds to the suspicion of his death. Because why? Having a 3rd child adds more financial pressure to your family, right? She had already quit her job after having Bo a while ago. Dustin is the only one that has a job. Mind you, he is still a kid, number 1. Number 2, it's a part-time job because he has school. You know, it's probably not making that much money. So the financial pressure is just adding. Remember, they had 929 simoleons at the beginning of the game. That is insanity. Maybe when Brandy found out she was pregnant with the 3rd, quickly after Bo was born, and she couldn't handle what this meant for her and the family. And what if she killed him? What if she killed Skip in the pool? What if she had a moment of psychosis and killed her husband? Because, oh my god, that's just my thought, okay? But why result to killing? You know what I mean? Well, again, momentary psychosis, financial pressure. But maybe it was a conscious decision because my brain went somewhere else, okay? My brain went, whoop. Remember how I told you that she is acquainted with Dina and Nina Caliente? Dina and Nina are suspected in Bella Goth's disappearance. We went over this. Dina is known to be a gold digger, okay? She had a husband before. He died and then she took all the money. Now she's going off after the next rich man. You're telling me that friendly, sweet, little bit airheaded Brandy didn't catch some strays when she's hanging out with Dina and Nina? If you don't believe me, now there was an article. The Sims like released a little article thing with one of the games that came out, if I remember correctly. It stated that Brandy knew of Dina's plans to seduce Mortimer. She knew her friend, who is part alien, is trying to seduce a widower, right? Who we also suspect that same friend of being the reason why he is a widower. You're telling me that she's hanging out with these people. She's a busy mom of two, and maybe she just needed some friends, you know? And she made friends with Dina and Nina. You know, she was getting to know them. She's acquainted with them in the game. Maybe she was just happy to talk to adults for once. We know Dina and Nina as people who are capable of kidnapping, planning murder, and murdering to get their way and to get money. Dina is a gold digger, okay? She is the OG Black Widow. I suspect that Brandy was influenced by her new friends. Maybe hearing them plot about getting rid of Bella to seduce her rich husband stuck with her. And then when she found herself in this situation of, oh my gosh, I already don't have a lot of money. I am pregnant with my third child. I don't have a job. My husband only works part-time or what have you. What is gonna happen? Maybe she just lost it. Maybe she just lost her mind. Maybe Skip had some life insurance to his name and she thought, what if I kill him and get the money from the life insurance? In her mind, maybe in that moment, the only way forward was to kill him, report him missing, and then let the police find his body in a way that suggests that maybe he simply drowned and nobody noticed he was there. I digress. That's my little theory. Anyways, obviously there are consequences. Theories aside, there's consequences to Skip's death. Okay, we have Dustin, for example. While Skip was still alive, he helped raise Dustin. Okay, his memories show that he grew up well while Skip was around. However, when Skip died, he aged up poorly. So he then joined the criminal career. He doesn't care about school. He's a C student and he has shady friendships. He's friends with a burglar. Okay, I would be concerned if that was my kid. I don't blame Dustin for being the way that he is. I think deep down he wants to help his mom and his little brother because he actively went out and got a job. The job itself, suspicious, but he got a job nonetheless, and his bio states he just wants someone to tell him what to do. He probably feels like he's the man of the house now, and that's a lot of responsibility for a teenager. Like, your frontal lobe is not even developed. You know what I mean? How are you supposed to know what to do, when to do it, and how? Then we have Bo. Bo is born with no memories of his father. I don't think he has any memories at all, now that I think about it, but he is almost a child and he hasn't successfully learned any toddler traits. I ranted about this earlier, but like, there's clearly a struggle with him growing up without his dad because it's just his mom who's taking care of him, and she also has another child to think about. So I can see how his father's absence is playing a huge role on how he's growing up with the way things are going. I mean, Brandy is clearly occupied with so many things. I mean, covering up her husband's murder. No, I'm kidding. There's circumstantial evidence, not enough, you know, for like a verdict, but I think she's guilty. Last but not least, were there signs? We've been talking about signs for 3 videos now. Absolutely, there were signs. I feel like the actions and the intentions and the energy of that family may have created a generational curse. Then there's a history of family members dying young. Bernard died young. He was only an adult. He died young. Mary Lou died young. Skip died young. Hello. Like, you are telling me generation for generation somebody dies young. That is a curse. Like, it's you can't tell me it's not. Maybe Brandy realized that she didn't want to follow in the footsteps of her ancestors, and maybe seeing her new friends literally do anything for money, Dina probably influenced her. I don't know. But at the end of the day, whether she killed Skip or not, she ended up alone, raising 2, soon to be 3 boys by herself, and still broke. I think out of everything I've said in this video, in all the videos, this family was doomed from the beginning. There were too many signs, and even the ones who saw it, did they escape? We don't even know. So yeah, that is all the information on the Broke family. I hope you enjoyed this 3-part series. If you did, give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing. Have a happy and safe Halloween, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!